There is food in your fridge. You know there is food in your fridge. You literally bought it 3 days ago with every intention of becoming the kind of person who eats real meals. And yet here you are, at 7:43 p.m. on a Tuesday, phone in hand, scrolling through delivery apps like you're looking for something you lost a long time ago. And somehow this was supposed to be the easy part. Not the cooking part. Not the budgeting part. Just the basic, fundamental act of eating food that you already own. That was supposed to be the floor. The bare minimum of keeping yourself alive. And even that has turned into a full psychological operation. What is actually happening here? Because this isn't laziness. Lazy would be simpler. Lazy you could fix with a motivational poster or a stern talk with yourself in the bathroom mirror. What's happening here is something much more complicated and honestly a little bit embarrassing once you map it all out. It starts with the fridge. You open it. You stand there. The light flickers on and you see everything you bought with such optimism at the weekend. The chicken breast that needs to be marinated. The broccoli that is technically still fine but is starting to have opinions about how long it's been waiting. The 3 eggs, the half-used block of cheese, the pasta that requires you to boil water and also have a plan. And something in your brain just goes completely blank. Not tired. Not hungry. Just blank. Like someone hit pause on the part of you that knows how to want things. So you close the fridge. You tell yourself you'll figure it out in a minute. You go sit on the couch for what feels like 4 seconds but is actually 25 minutes. And then you pick up your phone, and the delivery app is already open because your thumb knew before you did. This is the spiral. And it has a name. Several names, actually, depending on which part you're stuck in. But the part that gets you every time is this, the decision fatigue gap. The tiny abyss between I should eat something and I have successfully made something edible. That gap is where takeout lives. That gap is the entire business model. Think about what cooking actually requires when you're an adult. Not a recipe website cooking. Not a person with a fully stocked kitchen and 45 free minutes and a natural enthusiasm for rinsing lentils. Real adult cooking, after a real adult day. You need to want something specific. You need to have the ingredients for that specific thing. You need the energy to stand up and do approximately 12 tasks in a row without losing your train of thought. You need to generate a plan, execute the plan, clean up after the plan, and then feel good enough about the results to eat it without immediately wishing you'd ordered noodles. That is a lot of steps. That is a project. On some days that is the hardest project you will attempt all week. And here's the thing nobody tells you about being an adult. You will spend a significant portion of your mental energy on decisions you never even thought of as decisions before. What to have for dinner isn't just a dinner question. It's the 47th question your brain has fielded today. By 7 p.m., your decision-making circuitry is not broken, but it is extremely done. It has given everything it had to emails and meetings and whether to text someone back and how to word a thing and whether that weird noise your car made means something. It has nothing left for the broccoli. So your brain, being the sneaky little efficiency machine that it is, does exactly what it has learned to do. It roots around the problem. It finds the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is your saved payment info and a restaurant 6 minutes away. You've done this before. The app remembers your order. You don't even have to think. You press 3 buttons and the decision is made and your brain exhales for the first time in hours. That exhale is the product. That's what you're paying for. Not just the food. The relief of not having to decide. And okay, maybe it's also a little bit about the fridge situation. Because let's be honest about the fridge. Not the concept of a fridge, a beautiful organized fridge full of labeled containers and fresh herbs in little jars of water like you saw in that video. Your actual fridge. The one with the leftover rice from Thursday that you keep telling yourself is still fine. The yogurt that expires tomorrow and you keep noticing and then forgetting. The vegetables that started out as ambition and have quietly become a personal accusation. Every time you open that fridge and don't cook, you feel it. The small but specific failure of the thing you said you were going to do. The meal prep you planned on Sunday that became 2 hours of standing in the kitchen eating crackers and then giving up. The groceries that were supposed to transform you into a functional adult and instead became a collection of passive-aggressive reminders that you had ideas and those ideas did not survive contact with the week. And so eventually the fridge itself becomes a source of low-level stress. A place where your good intentions go to quietly decompose. And opening it stops feeling like a solution and starts feeling like a confrontation. This is not a personal failing. This is architecture. The system was not designed for how humans actually live. Because here's the thing about adulting that nobody puts in the brochure. You were handed a set of responsibilities that were designed for a version of daily life that doesn't really exist anymore. The assumption built into Just Cook at Home is that you have finite, predictable work hours, a reasonable amount of mental bandwidth left at the end of the day, a fully stocked and organized kitchen, and some baseline enthusiasm for the process of turning raw ingredients into meals. And if you have all four of those things, great. Cooking at home is completely manageable, and also you are living inside some kind of blessed bubble, and I would like to know more. But most days you have 2.5 of those things if you're lucky. And 2.5 is not enough to get the chicken breast marinated and into the oven by 6. So you order. And then the food arrives, and for a minute everything is fine. It is warm, and it required nothing of you, and you eat it on the couch, and your shoulders come down from somewhere near your ears, and you feel, briefly, like a person who has things under control. And then the receipt notification arrives. $17. Plus delivery fee. Plus service fee. Plus the tip you gave because you're not a monster. And suddenly the chicken breast in the fridge is looking at you differently. Not with accusation. With something worse. With math. You do the math you always do. If you ordered 4 times this week, that's close to $80. That's basically a full grocery run. That's the grocery run you were going to do anyway. That's 2 grocery runs if you're organized about it. That's a category in your budget labeled food that has quietly become the most expensive line item after rent, and you are not entirely sure when that happened. You screenshot the receipt. You tell yourself this is the last time. You open the Notes app and type Meal Prep Sunday, and then you put your phone down and watch something on TV and fall asleep on the couch, and the receipt disappears into the notification void, and Sunday comes and you buy groceries with all the hope in the world. And by Tuesday you're back on the app. This is not a cycle of weakness. This is a cycle of a system that was never designed to make the healthy, budget-conscious option the easy option. Because easy doesn't exist without infrastructure. Easy is what happens when everything around you is set up to make the right choice the obvious choice. And right now, the entire delivery industry, with its slick apps and its save cards and its 15-minute windows, is extremely set up. Your produce drawer is not. There is a version of this that gets better. It doesn't look like willpower. It looks like removing decisions. Pre-portioning things so you don't have to plan. Keeping 3 or 4 absolutely brainless meals in rotation that require almost no thought. Treating the first hour after you get home like the most dangerous hour, the hour where the app is most likely to win, and having something already out on the counter before that hour hits. None of this is glamorous. None of it looks like the person you thought you were going to be when you moved out and got excited about buying your own olive oil for the first time. But it works. Kind of. On most days. If the week isn't too bad. And if the week is too bad, order the noodles. Pay the fee. Eat on the couch. Forgive yourself immediately and completely because you are doing an enormous number of things with a brain that is running at capacity, and occasionally the noodles are the right answer. You know there's food in your fridge. And next Tuesday, when you're on the couch with your phone already open, you'll know it again. And that is not a failure. That is adulting. And the whole joke is that everyone is doing the exact same thing. 2 blocks over, with the exact same chicken breast, slowly forming opinions in the back of their exact same fridge.